Hi, I'm Phil. You're watching my channel where I talk about a lot of geeky pop culture things and Doctor Who. And one big part of Doctor Who, which I'm a big fan of, is Big Finish. Behind me here is my Big Finish CD collection, and one thing I've not done on this channel as of yet, but I've seen many other channels do, and I thought I would eventually get round to, and hey look, I have, is to show off my Big Finish collection and give a few thoughts on some of the CDs contained there within. That's what I'm going to do in this video. I will try, I promise I will try and keep it short. I don't want this to be a half-an-hour video. I want to drone on about these. I want to get through them quickly. Another thing I should say is there may be some CDs on the shelf right behind me this second, which you can see right now, that won't appear in the video, and that is because I recorded the main part of this video about a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit more, and I've acquired some more CDs since then. So, bonus, there may be a prize. There probably isn't a prize, but there may be a prize if you can spot all the CDs that you can see behind me now that don't show up in the video. I will congratulate you, and I might send you a prize. Probably won't send you a prize, but I might do. So, you know, write in the comments below what you don't see in the main bit of the video, but you do see behind me now. I'm probably in the way, aren't I? Hold on. So, there we go. Keep an eye out for those, and let's get on with it, shall we? So, the main focus of my Big Finish CD collection is the 8th Doctor, and I do my best to display his audios in Doctor timeline order. Which presented a bit of a question for this one. Company of Friends is an anthology of 4 stories, all set within different parts of the 8th Doctor timeline, and when he's with different companions. Not only that, but one of the stories actually has 2 versions of the 8th Doctor from 2 different points in his timeline, so I just thought, at the beginning, seemed to make the most sense, especially as one of the stories sets up him inviting Mary Shelley aboard the TARDIS for a run of main series adventures that come first in his timeline. We'll talk about those more in a minute. One thing I loved about this CD though is one of the companions in one of the stories is Fritz Kreiner. Kreiner? I don't know, it's a German name. As a companion. Long before I loved the 8th Doctor on Big Finish, I loved the 8th Doctor novels published between 1997 and 2005, and Fitz is one of his companions from that range. Next up, I've got the Mary Shelley trilogy of main range releases, a fun trio of adventures featuring the famous author as a companion, starting with the rather good Cyberman story The Silver Turk, and then Witch from the Well, and finally Army of Death. Shada! I remember watching the original animation of this on the old BBC Doctor Who website in the early 2000s, painfully waiting for it to buffer on an old 56k dial-up connection. It was one of my first experiences of the expanded world of Doctor Who stories outside of the TV show, so it's very nice to have it on CD now. Then we're on to the original 8th Doctor audios, the main range starting with Storm Warning, then Sword of Orion, which I only later found out led into the rather good Cyberman spin-off series. Minuet in Hell, then Invaders from Mars, which in my opinion is the first really good story from this range. I love the atmosphere they created in this, and I love the ties to the original War of the Worlds radio broadcast, which has always fascinated me as a bit of a radio drama geek. The Chimes of Midnight is another fan favourite, but I need to give it a re-listen because I can't remember much about it now, and can't remember it particularly standing out at the time. Re-evaluation may change that though. Next, I've got Seasons of Fear, Embrace the Darkness, and Time of the Daleks. I slotted in the Companion Chronicle Solitaire next. I think I might have read in someone's version of the 8th Doctor's timeline online that they placed it here or something. I've not listened to many Companion Chronicles, as I prefer the full cast audio approach to the half-narrated style of this range, but this one does a really good job of getting the Doctor, or at least his voice, out of the way and creating a compelling narrative with just 2 actors. Back to the main range now. We've got the 8th Doctor story Neverland, and then now, for some odd reason, the Maltese Penguin was next on the shelf, which is a 6th Doctor story. I think I might have been indecisive of whether or not to put the few non-8th Doctor main range titles I did have in their numbered placement within the main range, or in Doctor chronology order. I've since moved them to the latter. Similarly, we had the excellent Spare Parts next, a 5th Doctor story and one of the best Cyberman stories in existence, an absolutely brilliant origin for the Cybermen. Does World Enough in Time / The Doctor Falls contradict it? Nah, I think they can both reconcile each other, and they both happen to be great. Well, World Enough in Time is great, The Doctor Falls isn't, just okay. Oh yeah, here's where I put these in their new homes at the beginning of the shelf, where they should have been from the start. Feel free to contradict me in the comments on that. If there's one thing I'm always tempted by in a Big Finish sale, it's a really cheap Dalek story. I got this, I think, for something like $2.99. To the early part of the shelf with the 7th Doctor story. Back to the 8th Doctor now, and Zagreus. Yeah, this is, well, it's very weird. I've only listened to it the once, and I'm not sure I fully got what was going on. I think I need to re-listen to it when I can pay more attention. Whatever you do, if you're new to Big Finish, don't start with this one. Oh yeah, and it led into the Divergent Universe arc, which is my least favourite 8th Doctor era on audio. I do commend them for trying something a bit different with this arc. I mean, a lot of it was very, very surreal, but it just didn't grip me. I did quite like the new companion who joined the Doctor and Charlie for the duration of this arc though. Chris? Was it Chris? Or Chris? Is it meant to be pronounced Chris or Chris? Chris or Chris? I'm not sure, but I liked him. Terra Firma was where the range got good again for me. A great Dalek story. Scaredy Cat holds the honour of being either the first or second Doctor Who audio I ever bought. Along with the first of the Gallifrey series, I bought this in my first year of uni after seeing them in a bookshop. I enjoyed them both immensely, but decided that my student loan wouldn't quite stretch to starting to collect more of these, so I didn't buy another one for several years after that. Then we've got Other Lives, Time Works, Something Inside, Memory Lane, which I love the cover art to, and then Absolution, which marks the point in the 8th Doctor's main range adventures when the sidebar thing was added to the cover design. Then we have The Girl Who Never Was, which was of course Charlie's final adventure with the 8th Doctor. It had taken me a while to warm to Charlie as a companion. I could never really put my finger on why, but for some reason I found her quite annoying. Whether I just got used to her, liked her more as her character grew and developed, or there was just some change in the way she was written or performed, I don't know. But by this point, she'd grown on me enough that I wanted to find out where she went next, so when I saw them on sale, I purchased her continued adventures with the 6th Doctor. And if that sounds very confusing, it is a little. It's very timey-wimey, but I'm not going to explain it here. Just read up on it or something. I don't have the CDs of those ones though, I got those on download only. I'm yet to get to her solo series that followed on from those, but I'm keeping an eye out for a sale. Next up is my favourite era of 8th Doctor audios, as he broke away from the main range for his own series originally broadcast on digital station BBC 7. I listened to all 4 series of this as they went out, but I've only in the last few years started to collect them on CD. Blood of the Daleks sees the Time Lord impose a new human companion on the Doctor in the form of Lucy Miller, played by the always brilliant Sheridan Smith. It's a great Dalek story, and for an added bonus it stars a pre-Peggy Carter, from the MCU, Hayley Atwell. I've just been picking these up gradually as and when they are in sales, and so far I've managed to get the entire first series and a few from other series like 8 Truths, World Wide Web, and the Ice Warriors stories Demos and the Resurrection of Mars. The Light at the End is Big Finish's 50th anniversary release, and while I would say it's a better multi-Doctor story than Zagreus, it does suffer slightly from trying to follow all of the Doctors and companions up to the 8th Doctor. Despite this holdback though, it was certainly a full-on celebration of the classic era of the show. The award-winning Dark Eyes now. I got this signed by Nick Briggs, but for the life of me, I cannot remember where. It might have been at the 2013 official Doctor Who celebration convention, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure. This box set took the Doctor in a bold new direction and was rewarded by winning the BBC Audio Drama Award in the Best Online or Non-Broadcast Drama category. The entirety of this series of 4 box sets is good, but this is probably the best of the 4. In Dark Eyes 2 we did get the reintroduction of Liv Chenka, who previously appeared in a 7th Doctor audio, and she is one of my favourite audio companions though. Now you might have noticed something about a lot of the CDs on these shelves. They're still in their cellophane wrappers. What craziness is this? Why buy them and not listen to them? Well, I tend to listen to download versions on the app and really only get the CDs to satiate my completist tendencies, because before I had the app I started collecting the 8th Doctor audios, and now I just kind of feel I have to finish collecting the 8th Doctor audios. Maybe one day I'll open them. Maybe they'll remain wrapped forever. Who knows? Doom Coalition was, in my humble opinion, a much better, more coherent story than Dark Eyes, which makes sense, as Dark Eyes wasn't planned to be a 4-box set series initially, and it was only after the success of the first one that led to more under that title. This was planned as one story from the off, and so it builds to its climaxes in a much more satisfying way. The 11 is the best new Time Lord we've met since the Master, and so interesting as a villain. I won't spoil it if you haven't heard it yet, but really, I mean, why have you not heard it yet? It's great, go and buy it. Oh yeah, this is where I had to start double parking my shelves due to lack of space. Ah, how I dream of one day having a house big enough to have a room filled with shelves for all the Doctor Who stories in existence. Now, where did my lottery ticket go? Ravenous is only just getting started, but it holds good promise with this first box set, including the much dated and improved version of the Candyman, and now we get to the Time War with the first 2 8th Doctor box sets set in that era. I love that we're now finding out some of the things that happened in this universe-changing event. The event that for 10 years in the TV series we only got vague hints at through bits of dialogue, and they've done a really good job here at presenting different types of stories from within that conflict. Really looking forward to the next one. Continuing the Time War theme, I had the first 2 War Doctor sets, which I haven't listened to yet. Look, I keep buying Big Finish faster than I have time to listen to them, okay? I blame the sales. So many sales. I will get to them soon, I promise. A bit of New Who now with the first 10th Doctor adventures. Again, I haven't listened to it yet. And now, moving away from Big Finish temporarily, I had the BBC audio exclusive audiobooks. Pest Control, The Neomite Invasion, The Forever Trap, The Day of the Troll, The Last Voyage, Dead Air, and The Rising from the Tennant era, The Runaway Train, The Ring of Steel, Snakebite, Sleepers in the Dust, Day of the Cockroach, Blackout, The Jade Pyramid, Dark Star Academy, The Gemini Contagion, The Empty House, and New Humans from the Matt Smith era, and only The Lost Planet from the Capaldi era. Oh, and I've got the Time Machine from the Destiny of the Doctor series. Had them all on download, but I got this one free in Doctor Who magazine late last year. Next up is the spin-off shelf. And we start with the original Big Finish unit series, very much in the older style of unit we saw in the classic series. You know, before they could afford big giant helicarriers in the sky. I wonder if they have funding issues these days. A good run of spying and espionage, and then the more modern unit series, which I picked up for a steal at a car boot sale. 3 box sets for £10, which is why they are random series. It's because I only have these on CD, and I only really get around to listening to the CDs on long car journeys, that I've only listened to the first CD as silenced from this set. I've also got a handful of Bernie Summerfield audios, none of which I've listened to, which I bought off Marxist Whovian on Twitter. Well, on eBay, but I found out about them on Twitter. Then we get to Torchwood. 1 BBC audiobook, and then the first 6 of the main Big Finish Torchwood range, which I was lucky enough to win in a competition on the Time Ladies website. Thank you very much, ladies. I actually happened to have just listened to One Rule earlier this week. Despite the fact that these releases jump around in the Torchwood timeline, I'm very intrigued by the mysterious thread they're weaving about the Sinister Committee. Oh, and also in that competition, I won Torchwood Archives, which, you guessed it, I haven't listened to yet. In a sale at some point in 2018, I picked up all 4 original Short Trips collection. Got them on CD because, you know, 8th Doctor completist. Some more bargain finds now, this time at a local charity shop which had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 but 5 series of Django and Lightfoot. I forget how much I paid now, but I'm pretty sure it was, you know, a matter of a few pounds each. They're all a bit random series again, but thankfully Series 1 was one of them, so yeah, I'll get around to it at some point. The first CD of the Gallifrey series was the other first Big Finish I bought. I may have actually bought them on the same day. Look, it was 14 years ago, I can't remember. I remember reading that someone called this the West Wing of the Doctor Who universe, which excited me, despite the fact that I'd never seen a single episode of West Wing. Still haven't, but I knew it was going to be damn good TV. And this is a damn good Doctor Who spin-off series. I really like it. In more recent years, I finished off the first season, and just the day before recording this voiceover, I bought all CDs from the 2nd and 3rd series in the warehouse clearance sale. I thank you, Big Finish, my wallet does not. So there you go, that's my Big Finish CD collection. I have a lot more than that on downloads as well. Maybe I'll do that in another video, who knows. Have you got any of these? What do you think of them? And don't forget to write the missing CDs that are behind me now but weren't in the rest of the video, because I recorded that bit like over a month ago. Do that too. Put that in the comments below. You might win a prize. I keep saying that, but I'll have to find a prize if I... Yeah, prize. Anyway, don't forget to do all the stuff. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll be here for more Doctor Who videos soon. Goodbye.